Live with Miami's Community News, and I'm Michael, and we have two very special guests today. All right, and I know you're going to be doing a great job. So first, this is Dr. Paula Hopkins. You're with the Beacon Council, right? And you do a lot of stuff over there. But the main feature is this young lady over here, Julia Robison. You are the founder of the South-Dade Women's VA, all right, Veterans Alliance, SDWVA. First, tell us about your service to America.
South-Dade Women's Veterans Alliance is a nonprofit organization, of course. I founded South-Dade Women's Veterans Alliance in November of 2018 as I retired from service at the Miami VA healthcare system. Mm-hmm. I started at the Miami VA healthcare system as a community employment coordinator for homeless veterans. And in my pursuit for supporting and helping veterans, I recognize the marginalization of women veterans, and so therefore creating South-Dade Women's Veterans Alliance.
When people get into a big institution and they get lost, all right, it's the friendly voices and the friendly hands that people are warm to and that feel better. So I want to thank you for that. And you were you served in the Army. Tell us about that.
Yes, in 1980, I graduated from Miami-Killian Senior High. 17 years old, went right into the military. 2 months after I graduated, I went into the military. That was in October 1980. And I served in Fort McClellan, Alabama, where I did my basic training. I ended up in Korea. I went to South Camp Casey. I served as an administrator because back then they didn't allow women in combat, so I had to serve in an administrative field. I left Korea, came to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, where not after that, I went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma as a result of coming into the military because I wanted to follow my sister. I wanted to be a nurse. Didn't have a stomach for a nurse, so I went into field artillery.
Nurse. Okay. Well, I see the connection there.
So I was a little wild one, but and I was able to do well in field artillery survey. But once I got to Korea, they didn't allow women in combat, so I went into administration. I left Korea, went to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where I worked in the general's office. So I was his administrator while there.
So do we have to say yes, ma'am, to you all the time now?
Sometimes you do.
Okay. So Paula, let's talk a little bit about your history and why are you with the Beacon Council?
Yep. So for me, first of all, I'd like to say thanks for your service to all veterans, and we're talking women veterans today, and proud to be able to sit alongside Miss Julie, and I do say yes ma'am to her and thank her for her incredible service. But at the Miami-Dade Beacon Council, we have one mission, and it's 3 words. It's build a sustainable, inclusive, and competitive economy. And for the Beacon Council to partner up with the Women's Veterans and Women's Are Veterans 2 event coming up on June 12th, we say that we can do all of those things in one single day and do it with an amazing partner, meaning the South-Dade Women's Veterans Alliance. At the Miami-Dade Beacon Council, we say we do 5 different things. We grow the economy, and we measure ourselves with how much capital we bring in, how many companies we bring in, Michael, and then how many jobs we bring in. And then we talk about salary in that as well. When we talk about Champion Miami on why businesses should move here and bring their headquarters, we do that with marketing, outbound missions, and a big plank of ours is investing in people. So when we think about investing in people, we do it in several different ways. We work with our higher academic leadership council for our institutions here, invest in talent. And then, of course, we do this thing called Shape the Future. So when we think about partnering with community partners, we want to be with people that not only are shaping the future, but have the people inside of it that do great things.
In a moment, we're going to be running your website address as well as the Beacon. So if people want to find out a little bit more information, they can do that. So tell us about this event that's coming up on June 12th.
So June 12th is a nationally recognized day where we celebrate, and it's Women's Veterans Recognition Day. It commemorates the signing of the Women's Armed Services.
Hold on one second. So we have on the screen right now your ad for the event right there.
Yes.
Right? I see. All right. So continue.
So we have June 12th. June 12th is a national day that we commemorate women's service armed forces. The day that we commemorated that in the June 12th is nationally recognized as Women's Veterans Recognition Day. It commemorates the signing of the Women's Armed Services Integration Act of 1948.
So what is it like when you get together with other women veterans? Is that a certain type, I would usually say fraternity, but it's a certain type of sorority?
Yes, we understand one another. We certainly feel one another. It's nothing like serving in our armed forces as a woman, but it's nothing like being disavowed as a female servant.
So one of the things we recognize is the plight of the misunderstood, or the plight of the people that are not in mainstream.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you a short story. When I was in the Rotary in the middle 80s, they wanted me to be the secretary. And I said, I don't want to be taking notes. I do that all day. So I brought somebody, happened to be a woman. And so she's taking notes. And then I said, I'd like her to apply to become a member. Week goes by, 2 weeks go by, 6 weeks go by, 8 weeks go by.
Right.
I go to board of directors meeting. Go, what is going on here? Well, I'm going to tell you something. They said that about Jews and blacks, you better stop. So she was the first woman into the Rotary in South Miami. A couple of years later, I get a call from a pastor who happened to be black, who happened to be the new president. She called me up. And I knew why she called. So I want to thank you. I said, for what? She said, for making that change from 10 years before. Because we realize the things that we do today may not have an immediate impact, but down the road, sometimes we see that. So tell us about the impact that the Beacon Council is having. We know that thousands of people have been moving to South Florida, and particularly Miami. We hear about it all the time. And I'm sure that the Beacon Council has said, hey, pay attention to us. And it's really worked, all right? You know, however it all folded out, all right? When people from California, from Washington State, New York, and Chicago coming here and making our downtown like an incredible event. So tell us about the impact of your work.
Yep. So this year we'll celebrate 40 years at the Miami-Dade Beacon Council, and we're also bringing back the Beacon Awards in October as well. But when we think about building an economy that's inclusive, competitive for all, we think about things like what it's like to live in Miami. So not only do we now have the quality of life, we have amazing people here. And one of the things we continue to build on is talent. So when I think about building on in talent, and I want to stay obviously on our Women's or Veterans 2 event coming up, talent is one of our biggest problems, but it's also one of our biggest assets. So when we talk about shining the light on this day on June 12th, we're going to be with some women that have led missions. They have served in the highest level leadership capacity, not only domestically, but internationally. When you think about Miss Julie being in Korea, if we can make sure that we are giving them service like they served us, we'll be not only stronger, but we're also better together, Michael.
So how do we get the young people that are tomorrow's leaders, how do we get them involved to feel the confidence that you two ladies have, so that when they're growing up, they have the belief system that, yes, you can do that.
Yeah.
So how do we help that happen?
Yeah.
We need to change the narrative. We need to change the narrative that veterans are not weak. They're not slow. They are very, and particularly in the area of women. Women have, flown in those wars, fighter jets. And you have women that are commanding Navy bases, and you have those that are commanding submarines and those types of things. We have always been in the back burner. We've been invisible. And so now that the real stories of women who have served our country have done these amazing, amazing things, that the narrative has changed if those stories are told.
And I think that's part of what we do. We try to tell the story. And so when the little girls and little boys are looking, say, I could do that, right?
Yeah.
And there's these two twins that are playing, both got into the NBA. And so the dad was asked, when did they start knowing the kids were going to be in the NBA. He
Right.
said when they were in the womb, we were talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
I
20
agree.
some odd years later, they're there. Again, so part of what we try to do is tell the story. So when the people are looking at you today and tomorrow, next week, that they're going to see something, they're going to feel something that you have. And as far as that confidence to be, so that they can say, Mom, Dad, this is what I want to do.
Right.
So what could we do together so that the little kids can feel more confident?
Tell the stories.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the stories, because it's the resilience of women veterans. We have gone through many things that are untold. Give us the opportunity to tell our stories. Let our children know that we have been resilient, that we have always been strong. Women veterans have done amazing things that a little girl who wants. The question was asked just the other day: if a child your age, when you went in the military at 17, what would you say to her in this current circumstance? And I says, yes, because regardless of ever, we've always been strong. We have always fought. We continue to fight, and we will not give up. And when they're saying that it doesn't matter, we shouldn't be here, and all of those things, how did they get here? A woman. And so we need to fix these stories.
Amber, you listening to this?
We need to fix these stories, because these stories are told that women are softer and they're weaker and they don't know what they're doing. Okay, well, you got to think about that when you're saying that, because not only have there been struggles and failures for women, there's been struggles and those things for men as well. And men veterans deserve, just like we deserve, our rightful place. We come home after we give up our families and everything we have to serve a military where people are sleeping, we are working and fighting. And it should not be that we come back to a United States and they forget us.
Yeah.
Or they just, they toss us to the side like, oh, we're done with them and forget it. Let's go on. We don't go on because we won't give up, and we will not allow anybody we didn't let our enemies run over us. We certainly are not going to allow our military to do it.
So how do we get more women, get them at the table so they can have that conversation?
That's what we're doing on June 12th. We're bringing every female veteran to the table.
Mm-hmm.
I would like for Ms. Paula to have.
I agree. I think while I didn't serve in the military, I had family that did. My husband served in the military, the Army branch as well. One of the things that I like to bring forward is that I think Dr. King said it best. Life's most persistent question is, what are you doing to serve others? And these are people, veterans and women veterans, that have served us so we can have some of the freedoms that we have in America. And this will be a day to be able to not only shine the spotlight on them, but also show them that we can serve. So when I think about young kids looking up at us as role models and shaping the future, it's like, how do we tell them that they can be of service to others? And you get a whole bunch of great stuff that comes out of it. And you're going to see that on June 12th. It won't just be the Miami-Dade Beacon Council at the table. In that room will be Career Source, Amazon, which is one of our biggest economic drivers here. We'll have, obviously, all of our academic institutions, Miami-Dade College, FIU will be in the room, Southcom. They're bringing a ton of not only veterans, but their current serving women as well, and men. And then Colonel Brandon will be addressing the crowd, not only from Homestead Air Force Base, and then we're going to have a lot of elected officials delivering that message.
And where's this going to be, in June 12th?
June 12th. We are now going, we of course, we have a venue change.
Okay.
We had to change the venue from City Hall to the William F. Dickerson Community Center at 1601 North Chrome Avenue in Homestead. And nothing else about the program or about the summit is going to change, just the venue. But we did that to accommodate the large number of responses that we have.
So in the deep sense of it, how did women continue to be marginalized for so many years? Tell us about the impact that had when you were a little child.
Yep. I'm a big believer, and I think you said it earlier, if you can see it, you can be it. I'm a big believer on access and impact, right? I didn't want a handout, but a hand up would have been nice to be able to walk in a room and just level the playing field and give me the same opportunity. And you can see that in a lot of the kids coming through Miami, not just women, but also people from under-resourced communities, not underserved, under-resourced communities. And I'm excited that not only do I get to work for an organization like the Miami-Dade Beacon Council that puts that in their mission statement, but also partner with organizations like the South Dade Women's Veteran Allowance to say, this is your time to shine. You've served us, and more importantly, what can we do to serve you right now? So on that day, you're going to see things like an education panel and talk about what resources we have for the community and definitely for our community of women veterans. You'll see things like leadership. We won't walk away from the conversation around health, around mental health, and around homelessness. We want to make sure that we bring those things out and talk to the people that we're actually serving and give them a voice. And what I'm really excited about, Michael, is that Julie and the whole committee, Monique and everyone, has put together a special recognition for our veterans that will be in the room, which is, I'm probably the most excited about that piece of the program than any other piece.
So, Julia, was there a point at which you felt that you didn't have a seat at the table and then you were being left out?
I have always felt that way, but I think that my relationship with God, number one, is what brought me to the place where I believe that the joy of the Lord is my strength. And so being, having people that have come into my life, women veterans, I've had people in the community, women in the community, there's always been someone that would influence me that I could always do better. And I'm here right now to encourage women, because I've had a difficult life, but women, have experienced those things. I watch them now experience the things that I once experienced. You know, you can't take someone anywhere you haven't been. And so I think, and I take pride in being able to lead them because I have myself been led and to shape their lives, to pour into them and encourage them that you can do it. It's tough, and anything you get that is easy, you rid yourself of it really quick, but something you work hard for, you'll stick to it.
You mentioned about mental health. Obviously, this is Mental Health Month, and there are lots of trauma going around for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in particular, Black women. Tell us about that.
Well, you know, sometimes I've stepped in rooms where I was the only Black in the room, and I had to fight through tears. I've had to fight through feeling unappreciated and invisible, where conversations were really everybody else and no one wanted to hear what I had to say. It was a fight, but I'm for it, and I've always been for it, and I'm going to keep being for it. No matter what room that I find myself in, I believe that that room is there because God put me in that room for something. And whatever I go in, I'm going to go in with that confidence. And so it is difficult, yes, and I don't think color, I know that color doesn't matter. It matters to some, doesn't matter to me. And what matters to me matters the most. So that's where I am.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, tell us a little bit more about the Beacon Council, and not just for downtown, right,
Okay.
but throughout the county. How do we benefit from the Beacon Council?
Yeah, a couple of things. We're proud to say that we are the official economic development organization for the county. And one of the things we are striving to do is work with all 34 municipalities, because each one of them, which I'm finding, and I've only been with the organization for 10 months, Michael. I spent 31 years at PepsiCo in corporate America. And I got this unique opportunity to come in and not only give back to the community that obviously we should be serving, but when you think about growing the economy, when you think about executing, obviously, on our quality of life and tackling the problems and opportunities that we have, such as housing, transportation, talent, those are the things that I get to wake up every morning and do it with some awesome, awesome people. We're public and private. Obviously funded by the county, and Mayor Levine Cava has been an awesome leader on our board as well.
Since you mentioned municipalities, our favorite is the city of South Miami. So
No
whatever
doubt.
you can do for us down here in South Miami, City Hall is right around the corner, so
Yeah,
feel free
yeah.
to stop on over there.
I'll look in the camera and say it's my favorite too.
There you are. So again, so we have this event coming up on June 12th. All right. It's going to be in Homestead. People can go onto the website. I think we're going to play the address for your web address for the VA, if you will, and for the Beacon Council. People can find out more about the Beacon Council and more about your events. There it is. It's SDWVA.org. People can go on there and find out more about the event, and then also at the Beacon Council. So often as we go through life, we forget those people that helped us along our way. So I'd like to think we're going to start with Joy over here. I'd like you to start thinking about somebody and people that have helped you along your way. If they passed and you still want to thank them, that would be great. What I'd like you to do is look into this blue camera right over there, and you're talking right at it. People are going to be staring at you in a second. There we go. So try to thank some of those people.
I like to thank my children first. My mom is gone. I would thank her, but I'd like to thank my children because during the roughest time of my life, my children never gave up on their mother. They have always been, they were a little disappointed, but they never gave up. To Reverend Judy Cobb, who has taught me everything I knew about God. It was one thing to know God or hear the word. It was a whole nother thing to live the word. So she's taught me that. I'd like to thank the pastors of my past, Reverend Jackson, Reverend Brooks, now my current pastor, who is Reverend Dr. Remiel Lockwood, and how they pour into me. Right now, I've just been accepted into Moody Theological Seminary, and to just know that God is real for me, and to be able to spread that. I'd like to thank those who have invested every effort. I'd like to thank Paula Hopkins for hearing and talk. We spoke about this summit. We talked. She believed that it was by chance that we happened to know each other because of a little mistake that was made. I don't believe that, and I tell her that every time she says it, that I believe that it was divine, that it was that she would come in right now. And she's the executive vice president. She can make some decisions. She made a decision to partner with us. So I'd like to thank Rod Miller and all of the Miami-Dade Beacon Council. I will never,
thankful lady.
Yeah, I will never, because these are people who have poured into my life. Mayor Danielle Levine Cava was a commissioner when I met her in District 8. I had a conversation with her. South Dade Women's Veterans Alliance is a result of that conversation that I had with her. Vice Chair, Chairman Keone McGee. I've known him since he was a professor at Miami-Dade College. He he's not ever turned his back, and he's always been there to support. Commissioner Danielle Cohen-Higgins, she's been there, and they, support. These are people in high-level positions where I never thought I would have conversations with.
What do you think? What do you think all those people see in her?
I know.
Think of that support.
Yes.
Right. So,
yep. It's
Paula,
the
you're
heart.
up next.
Yep. I'm quick. It's first. I give honor to God always. He's the person, obviously, that my faith is really strong. And then, of course, my mom. She's no longer with me. I miss her today more than I did yesterday. She taught me that I may be the first in a lot of rooms, but I should not be the last. And that's how I took that. When you ask that question about Black women, I take that to heart every day. I'm proud of who I am, but it's even more proud of the people that can come in after that. And then, of course, I'll close out to say with my kids and then the community of people that took a chance on me when I didn't believe in myself. And for you, Michael, for having us here today, taking me on the tour and not wavering from the news that needs to be told. Thank you.
Well, last November, I was in a room with 850 journalists. I was so inspired thinking about the thousands of stories that they've told over that year. And it really added so much to what we do here. We used to have a mayor here, Dr. Anna Price. She was also Reverend. And 25 years ago when I met her, I excerpted what she told me. You have all the strength and power that you need. I said that to my kids every day.
Nice.
Morning, noon, and night, even if they couldn't hear me, even if it was as I'm walking out the door, right? And they remember a little part of it. But it's so important that we encourage people that you have the ability to do that. So I'm so delighted that all those people are supporting you. It really says something about you and the light that comes from you, that people are behind you. And thank you very much for serving all of us here in Miami-Dade. And we're going to look over at the red camera and we're going to say, Folks, thank you for joining us. And remember, take care of yourselves and your family. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.